all the eggs in the basket of Miracle being able to, like, he had last pick, right? He picked the Ember into the Windrunner. He was meant to do well. He didn't. The rest of the puzzle was built around that. Like, it just all tumbles down from the mid lane. So, like, Miracle goes from double Rampage game 1, Invoker popping off, to this Ember. And I think right now, like, they just need to reset go game 3 because there wasn't really much they could do after how disastrous kind of the first 15 minutes went for Nigma.
Well, if you feel like they need to reset for game 3, I mean, that's good. They get the chance to do that right now, and so do we. We're going to have a small break, but when we're back, it is drafting time for the deciding game. Adaptation. It's all about adaptation here in a series like this. Everything on the line. Literally everything. Because if you lose here, sure, you come third. Congratulations. You get nothing. Nothing whatsoever. And if you win here, you have a chance. Still have to play another series. You have a chance of actual literal millions. Here with Tigov and Milan. And this is game 3, the lower bracket finals. OG versus Team Nigma. Both teams having won one game so far, Milan. Do you feel like you have a preferred favorite for this game 3? You know, we've seen both teams win once. What do you feel like? Who's played the better Dota?
Pre-draft, pre-series, I would have a OG as a favorite. OG kind of historically had a Nigma's number. It's like, I think it's not the same roster minus Jerax and Ana. The Jerax was huge part of it. Viha was huge part of it as well. Like Jerax always brought another speed to OG's gameplay, like playing Task, Pudge, whatever. We see Saksa a bit of a different style. He's also a huge shootout. Just shout out to Saksa. He's a great player. It's really playing amazing. But I think OG is my favorite. Without
Still,
draft,
yeah.
as I said before.
Without draft.
Without draft, all the players are like very similar skilled, and like drafts just gonna make it.
And T, we just saw that first pick goes the way of Team Nigma. So far, the games that we just saw, first pick has been in the hands of the winner. Do you feel like that's a deciding factor here? What kind of impact does that have?
It's pretty heavy in this series. I think when teams respect each other as much in the first 2 bans and pick, try and snatch away heroes, and like the mini meta is so intense, I think winning the coin toss is pretty critical, right? So the fact that Nigma, won the coin toss, they pick first pick, that means that they have control in regards to, are they going to get Io? Are they going to get Invoker? Are they going to get Luna? Like all of these kind of scenarios, it now goes into Nigma's favor. And I think OG, of course, in the first series, they weren't really, I guess, ready for the Invoker, or at least weren't ready for that kind of idea of drafts. I think that at least should level the playing field a bit, because you've got some experience on this scenario. But yeah, it's, I don't know. Me and Milan, we were talking about it. The coin toss, it's a very historical thing in Dota 2. Maybe it could be a skill-based thing for future tournaments, maybe. I might start that petition right now. Get the 1v1 mids going. Let's not just leave it to a simple... But yeah, it's great. I know drafting's all that fun. And we'll see when the draft starts, like actually how much of an importance it has. Like, what are they giving up?
Well, we already see that Luna and Terrorblade. So we know traditionally the Terrorblade is a counter to the Luna, but we have seen ILTW go for the full magic build to deal with that Terrorblade a little bit better. Milan, it is still Nigma that pick up that Terrorblade, so they leave the Luna in the pool for OG to pick up if they want it.
Oh, the swaps in the bans are like to be expected because of the swap of the pick order. They need to get rid of the Io and Invoker. But the first pick Terrorblade, I thought they were not gonna pick either and just like punish otherwise. If OG would pick Luna 2-3, they would pick Terrorblade. If they would if they would pick Terrorblade, they would just punish with something else. But the first pick Terrorblade, I like the mini meta
very
wording.
good.
Yeah.
Like it's like
But Milan, we just saw Kuroki play the POS 5 Razor. This could be the POS 5. No, I'm not even gonna try.
Yeah, I'm not gonna exclude it. Like this is Kuroki we're talking about. Kuroki can do anything.
Is this then the Lion Alk? Like, are you going back for that?
This should not be the Alchemist, because they played the other day against Tundra, and they got punished with the TB when they picked Alchemist. So they're just gonna go Naga. Naga can be. This is like a bait. It is like a good matchup on TB, at least they understand it that way, and they might still bait it into like we saw Saksa, Smurf or whatever play Naga. You know, it could be easily Naga support.
I'm just happy the fact that we're in a game 3. Both of these teams are teams that we kind of realistically from the region we would expect to be at TI.
Yeah.
So the fact that we're talking about like the single game being like what will remove one of these teams from TI contention is, it's just weird to think about. But yeah, they do go for this Naga, like Manan said. It has that flexibility of forward carry. It was one of the heroes that Nigma did ban out in the previous game when they had Terrorblade, because of course Naga is one of the better heroes. Any of the illusions really are pretty good against Terrorblade.
I really hope that the Team Nigma bans the Darkseid, because like this is like the Naga response. Like I can see OG just do the Darkseid Naga offlane, counter pick the team bear on the safe lane and just roll with it. Like this is the bait you don't want to end up in. Like picking 2 core heroes when enemies picks 2 supports, like it can be very punishing.
Especially with the Timbersaw pick, like having the Naga as your carry doesn't feel as great anymore. And the main Darkseer combination that Milan was mentioning was when you song, you can of course vacuum during it. So even if it doesn't, you don't have to have that good song. You literally just press it, run in, you find the Terrorblade, and then you always will connect the spells because you can use it during the song itself. So actually, yeah, I like that suggestion a lot.
They're gonna ban the Nyx. They're gonna ban the Puck. The Nyx is good against the Darkseer. I mean, there's only 1 ban left for the Team Nigma. It's scary for me. It scares me. The Seb Darkseer is like it's
game 3.
That thing scares me, you know.
Yeah. We'll see if that's what they will ban out. Because so far with the Pugna and the Puck ban, it seems like they are trying to make Miracle have a good game this game because they're banning out some of the Thompson's heroes.
They did this the previous games as well. Like that they pick like not many stuns lineup. So the Puck, especially the Thompson Puck, it's a pain in the ass to deal with. Yeah. So just getting it out of the way is good.
And the Pugna respect as well, of course. I think the early aggression that Hero can bring to the table, you can 100-0 the TB before he has BKB at most points of the game. So yeah, just fully respecting what Thompson can bring and just preventing or enabling, sorry, the Terrorblade to access his own jungle early on.
We're talking a little bit about what we want to see banned out on the side of Team Nigma, that we're a bit worried about the Darkseer making an appearance on the side of OG. But what do we want to see on the side of Team Nigma? Because I'm looking at this Templar Assassin that is still in the pool for Miracle, and we have seen him crush with that, even in matchups that weren't necessarily favorable for a TAT.
I'm just trying to think of yeah. TA is okay. I think DK might be able to respect that, but TA and TB on the same team, I won't lie, Shiva, my whole brain right now is fixated on what the GH era is. I'm trying to work out like what 4 they're gonna bring, because it's like when you open up with TB and Timber and like you see these brands from OG, like I'm trying to picture like what's the GH era right now that if it is gonna be this like support Naga or whatever, this is song factor, you need a hero that can start the fight and 100-0. Like if you jump this Naga, you have to kill her pre-song. And like when you're already banging out these like kind of bigger 4s that have that stun potential, like what's left? Like Tusk, you don't want to go Phoenix or anything into a Naga anymore because of the song. Like Willow's not that great, so I'm currently racking my brain on how Nigma's going to actually be able to kill a hero right now.
I think I'm just also watching this ban from Nigma. I think it's exciting, but I think they have first pick from Team Nigma. They will just be reactionary. I can see the GH maybe play the Shadow Shaman. It's kind of decent against Naga, and it's like one of his signatures. He spawns it recently.
That's true.
And like it's an okay laner. They need stuns. They have 2 heroes without any stuns, so they want to pick it up. Or they ban the Enigma. Enigma Naga is also like historically very hard to deal with. Enigma is also Seb's famous hero. This way or another. Sometimes.
One of the purple heroes is getting through it, right? It's the Darkseer of the Nigma. Okay, they got one of them, but will they pick it? You know.
This ban is gonna be telling. This ban on OG is gonna tell their idea what they wanna do second phase.
Like, is it going to be another position 4? Because like they've already shown a lot of respect to GH, and I think that's the main thing here. When you pick a Timbersaw in first phase, the 4 role becomes so nice. Maybe Milan can agree here, because it's like you can pick the perfect hero to roam or do anything because you are kind of freed up in the game. So you want to have some type of like decent matchup to be able to kill mid or to bully that 5, and that's why I think OG is just using all the bans on this 4 position.
And if you're expecting a Darkseer on the side of OG, should they use this ban to protect the Darkseer maybe a little bit more? We often see Oracles against Darkseers, get rid of the Iron Shells in lane, make him have a lot slower game.
Oracle is cool, but Darkseer specialists like 3-3 or some of them would say they can play against it. It's not like the end of the world. I think OG is gonna pick up either the carry or the offlane now, because they see these 2 matchups. And I think they want to keep the Naga flex going a bit. So probably offlaner right here.
And then they banned the Tiny as well, because of course Miracle played that before, and it still can be that 4-roll. But when Miracle played it the other day, it's devastating. They go for a Sand King.
It's a quite a similar line of thought, like a heavy magic damage, good in lane versus TB.
Is this where OG gets like super creative? You know, the wombo combo. Like Darks is still on the table right now, in my opinion. You know, like we're big fans of it, but like imagine like the song into Darkseer, SK, Lion, some like casual SK mid or something, even Naga carry.
Was it SK mid for Thompson or for Miracle when we saw it for the first time around?
It was Miracle,
right?
In
the DPC, Miracle was playing it.
But it could just be Naga
quite
carry, right?
Sure.
Yeah, and it just maybe they worried a bit about it Oracle or Ench coming out.
That's true. They could just be happy with just like SK Naga as a lane itself.
They should probably pick a GH hero now. I'm just thinking that what to timber besides the Shadow Shaman
for the bench. Yeah, something they've always paired with the Terrorblade. They mentioned it during game 1. It's just the aura helps with the TB.
Draw ranger.
And they go for Drow, Of course, Drow is very good against TB because your aura just cuts through the armor of TB. And I think if you have Sand King and Naga, you're always going to be able to kind of protect her in a way through song or just through just having bodies in front of her. Gives you a good lane against Timbersaw as well to some degree.
They do this double counters. The Sand King and Drow are like the heroes to go versus the TB, but the bottom lane it can go rough. But this is of course they're again flexing. You know
everything's
the
open.
Thompson Drow, the Sumail Drow, the Thompson Sand King, Saxa Sand King, yada, and they pick up the Mars. They are also flexing. This can be a timber mid. You know,
this is everything.
The Miracle is famous for his, not famous, but he can play a very good timber mid.
Could also just be a 5 Mars. You want to spear the Sand King out of his sandstorm, help the terrorist.
We saw the Razor, like, too cute. I think they're gonna stay away from too cute.
Yeah, that's true. Both of these teams are really just kind of showing everything, but like keeping everything so open. Like, I don't know, Nog could be 4, Drow could be mid. Realistically, what OG needs is probably someone who can actually walk into the fight. Everyone right now wants to kind of stand at the back and kind of enable each other. Like, yeah, don't worry, I'll keep you alive. But there's not that one guy who kind of absorbs the damage. Like Nigma, they have a Mars, they have a Timbersaw. They have so many ways to walk up high grounds and start a fight. I think it's maybe where OG could lack some of these kind of.
They need someone to bait for the Sand King spells. Like Sand King, we mostly saw Boxy do it. Like the enemy chase and the Boxy gets like a 4-man epicenter. Power Strike just culls everyone. Like this is where Sand King excels. And they banned the Zeus and Monkey King. The Zeus is like one of the best heroes against the TB. And the Thompson is a good Zeus. Monkey maybe for like Mars or Timber wants to go mid. I would say Timber. And that's like very good matchup for Monkey, and it's a Thompson Monkey game. We talked about it. You don't want to forget about it.
No. Game 3 as well. Complete comfort. You go for a casual Monkey. Yeah. Now I respect that, and it simplifies. Like Nigma lost that second game because like their key hero in the game was completely shut down. Just maybe for an outplay, it wasn't like a matchup, and they actually go for the Phoenix. I wasn't expecting Phoenix just because of like Naga and the value of Song here, but they go for it anyway. They value just being able to survive in all that. Like it literally is a kind of a copy of game 1, right?
The song doesn't matter. Like if you're inside of the arena,
that's true. That's true.
It's just gonna delay you. That it's like Mars Phoenix is one of the strongest. Oh, they go for the Razor.
All right, who's picking what? That's the key thing.
No, not the Razor 5, guys. Don't do it.
It's the Miracle Timber.
It's a 5 Naga.
Yeah.
5 Naga, Saxon Lion.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. I think the main thing is like in Dota, like any melee 5 support can enable a ranged carry because you're literally a body. It doesn't matter what you play, right? You're just you exist.
We have in the previous 2 games, there's a little bit of a theme with the mid lane going, either Thompson's or Miracle Wave, depending on who won the game. Razor versus Timbersaw, Milan. Who takes it?
I think Razor has a bit of an edge early levels, but I would say it's a bad matchup for Razor, and I think the team Nigma got this one. I think they got the better core matchups. The way the OG is trying to counter it, I think they're not gonna do it. Like they have two range heroes versus the Mars core, and Mars is gonna have a decent lane, and they're gonna be in trouble this game. The Miracle's gonna pop off.
Quick prediction, T?
Fun game. Emulating game one. OG needs to kind of
Okay.
learn a bit more from that game because Nigma looks scary for sure.
Okay, well, it looks scary. Looks like if we're going to have a remake of Game 1, that means 30 kills in 20 minutes. I'm down for that. Our commentary team is ready for that as well. Let's head over to Suns Fan and Cinderin.
Hello, Cinderin.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. Man, what's going on today with the Dota? The drafting
Good question.
is absolutely crazy today from both teams. So we just went from a 5 Razor to a 5 Naga.
Yeah.
I think neither of those have been played in the entirety of this qualifier, maybe any of the regions. I could be wrong. There might have been like a Razor game, and I haven't watched every game, but very, very rare stuff coming out. And this is obviously two teams that have incredible experience with the game in general and against each other. So they try to be creative and come up with something different. I did not think I was going to see a Drow Naga lane today when I woke up, but that could be what I get in the end here.
Well,
very interesting stuff
We're
from
getting
OG.
closer to TI. That means Naga will be a hero, and it's always been a flex of sorts. You're right. It's been a while since it's been support, but it's not as rare as the position 5 Razor, though. I will say
That
that
is true.
emphatically. But yeah, you're right. It's the position 5 Naga. We got the position 1 Drow, and mid Razor going to be going against a mid Timbersaw. So, what is that matchup like?
So basically, when OG had the last pick, what they identify is that Nigma have 3 melee cores, and that's why Nigma banned Monkey King, right? Because that's the tops and go-to in these situations.
Right.
So then you think, okay, what are the next heroes that are amazing against melee cores? And that's Razor, right? He's the first one that comes to mind. So they pick that. I think Timbersaw is one of the melee heroes that does the best against Razor, simply because when you get levels in reactive armor, you're tanky enough to not get killed. You have a natural way of getting away with the Timber Chain, and you have spell damage, which, you know, that's one of the reasons that Razor loves laning against a hero like TA, is that she can only CS with physical. But something like Timbersaw, you can usually get at least a couple of CS per wave with just spell damage if you get drained. Topson will obviously drain him no matter what to build an advantage, but I reckon Miracle will do better in this lane than in last game. I don't think he's more favored than last game, but it's harder to screw up, I think.
Not expecting either.
Can't believe I'm
player to
saying that about
really-
Miracle, right? But that last game was just
Yeah.
not good. Like, sometimes it happens, even to the best.
Yeah, it's what we call an anomaly, Cinderman.
Yeah.
But we're seeing Terrorblade yet again. This is a hero that likely will get a few touches in the upcoming patch, whenever that is. But from Nigma's side, aside from the TB, they have the old tried and true Mars ult into Phoenix Egg combo, which I feel like was super popular pre-major and then into the major a bit as well. And I don't know if it's dropped off or maybe like the Wyvern has just taken over everything. This combo is still good, right?
Yeah, it is. I will say... Oh, hang on. GH.
He's getting quite low. Sumail
he's
with the right
dead.
click. Not even needed. Yep. Ends up getting with the
All right,
creeps.
so... Yeah. And we obviously did not get the Naga Drow lane, which I think would have probably been expectable, because then you have, you know, melee range in both lanes instead of double range and double melee. But I think the call here from OG is, if we put Naga Drow bottom, we're too exploitable. So we're going to make our top lane weaker in order to make sure that our Drow has a good time. And I actually like this idea. I think this was a good choice. Obviously, they get the first blood there too. But yeah, about the Mars Phoenix, honestly, I think Naga is a really good counter, actually, that we're going to see in play here. When that Arena and Supernova get popped, you can Song of the Siren for disengage. You can try to kill the egg. And you know, it's a traditional solution to these AoE ultis to have a support Naga. See Seb getting killed here though. Not having the best time on the Sand King.
Yeah, and since we haven't really
say
seen
the
support
least.
Naga in quite a while, you know, you talk about being a good counter with the song and all, but remember the since it is a support, they're not going to be getting a ton of levels on No Tail. And Song of the Siren radius 1,000 at level 1. It ramps up per level. So that's something that you don't really notice in the core roles because they just get those levels so fast. But something to watch for, obviously.
Very true.
But in the mid lane, Thompson 15-5 versus Miracles 14-1. So very. This is what we want to see. We don't want to see one person dumpster another. We want to see it very even. We want to see 60 minutes, tier 5 items, Cinderin.
Yes, you do.
We can talk about that in 10 minutes if you'd like. Just remind me, set a timer.
Sure.
As ILTW is going to pop the meta in the top lane. Pressuring Seb just a little bit out here, but are you expecting any lane to be kill heavy this time around?
I think the most likely one is bottom, right? It's the double range Drow Lion against Phoenix Mars, who progress a lot by hitting level 3. Both lanes really do. Lion getting it before GH down here on the Phoenix. You can just see they keep laying into mind control. He's already forced to buy a salve, and now he's sending out a bracer for a little bit of sustain at least. Yeah, that should be the most likely kill lane. Like, Thompson is going to keep doing this in mid, and Miracle will be like, wow, this is really annoying. And I'm going to wait it out and try to get CS with Whirling Death. I'm actually surprised he's attacking the creeps. He currently has -5 damage, so it's not even doing anything.
I feel like if you have minus damage, you should heal when you attack. That's my change log for next
That makes a lot of no sense.
I mean, there's a lot of things that don't make sense in Dota, Cinder, and you don't ask questions.
That is true.
If Ice Frog did it, you'd be like, oh, okay, sure. But it's because I suggested you hate it. Just throwing it out there.
That's generally how it goes when a smart person suggests something against when a not so smart person suggests something. Usually they think the smart person has a better idea.
I really set you up for that one. I apologize for giving you such an easy one. But yeah, Drow Ranger Cinderin. I'm very excited to see some male Drow. How does that hero fare in this matchup against TB? Like when we get to
one of the
mid to
better
late game?
carries for sure, because of marksmanship. Terrorblade will always play from range, so marksmanship will be active and it can pierce him. So it is just traditionally one of the best carries at dealing with it. The concern that I have for Sumail in this game actually is not coming from a core perspective. It's the Venge. I think that is a really good hero against Drow. Swapping Drow out of position feels so bad. Like, this hero is extremely dependent on standing in the backlines, and they have a hero that can handle it. Kuro probably needs level 2 ult, so it's gonna take some time. But any good swap on Drow can determine a team fight, or at the very least force out like Song of the Siren, for example. So
yeah, and that's a really long cooldown. I mean, you could have Burrow Strike initiation, I guess. Oh, nice impale in the bot lane. Sumail's gonna turn around with this multi-shot. Very nicely played. Man, that was on point. Is that mind control just gonna get harassed to the outskirts of the lane here? ILTW though gets Seb's courier. For a second I thought that was Seb himself, but he is a scorpion and not that cute little courier.
Dude, imagine if the couriers were as big as heroes. That would be menacing.
That it depends on what I mean, it could be very cuddly. If it was a huge cat, that's a different story. I'd love that. Let's add that to the changelog, Cinder. I know you have a list for Ice Frog in the upcoming patch. He's listening to you every time.
Yes, yes. Bigger
Appreciate
couriers,
that.
got it. Nerf Fountain, okay.
No. Come on.
Make courier, make Fountain a cat. Yes, understood.
But we should obviously talk about the implications of this match. As Kuro getting harassed here by No Tail, the magic missile off. But the winner of this is Thompson. Okay, gets the static link briefly onto GH, but looks like he'll be no worse for wear. And all right, Kuro, with the help of ILTW, going to try to turn this onto No Tail. Looks like that'll be an easy kill, blocking him with Kuro's body there. But winner of this goes to face Tundra of all teams. Not that that is a shock, I guess, but I figured one of these two teams, I don't know if I speak for you as well, either Nigma or OG, I figured they'd be in the upper bracket, but it is Tundra.
Yep.
And whoever loses will not be going to TI, Cinderin. Do you have... do you think Tundra have the advantage versus both teams?
I think it's probably going to be close. Tundra definitely has looked better, but I think perhaps with the experience of playing against them and their strategies, I think whoever faces them will look better than they did earlier. But yeah, Tundra has been looking really good, so probably still favoring them going in, but I would not be shocked to see them getting truly tested and even losing in the finals eventually. But let's just quickly go over how historical this game is going to be no matter who wins, right? So one of two things will happen. Either Kuro will miss TI as a player for the first time ever. That's 10 years.
Speaking of Kuro,
as he is
dead.
now getting killed by his position 5 from last game, the Razor. Either Kuro will miss his first TI ever as a player, or OG will not go for the first time since they were OG and they won TI twice in a row. So,
Right.
you know, it's pretty crazy. The stakes in this are probably, from like a Dota history standpoint, this might be the single craziest lower bracket game we've ever had in a qualifier.
I would I definitely agree. Now, keep in mind that
actually
other
insane,
teams
the players
that
will miss TI.
other teams that have won TI, I know it's not twice, but have in some cases have not made it to TI. I think Wings is one of them. I think there's another one on top of that. I can't think of it on the top of my head, but so it has
You
happened.
mean the following year?
Yeah, the following year. Correct.
Sumail.
Yeah. Well, Miracle. Oh, he's gonna get Hex mid Timber Chain. There's a lot of damage to withstand as Thompson's ult is popped right now. Timber Chain on the other side now, but he's completely surrounded with the Ensnare and the Impale. Nicely done from OG. That definitely helps Thompson out quite a bit. You can look at his
That
net
laugh
worth
is
right
so
now.
toxic.
Top.
Oh
You
my
and these
God.
voice lines, Cinder. Get with it. This is lower bracket, okay? Take it seriously.
I know. Well, I mean, I gotta highlight it, right? Because the teams have definitely muted each other. So, you know, they're not hearing it.
That's probably
There's
true.
like
huh?
literally no way.
That's probably
I think
true.
playing against OG and not muting their players is like... It's
Griefing
definitely
yourself.
negative win rate right
Yeah.
there. Don't do that.
That's a good point. Definitely true.
Yeah, so OG, or Nigma rather, tried to make a move bottom onto Sumail, but Mind Control missed the God's Rebuke in the start, and they actually needed that bit of damage to kill Sumail when he TP'd out, so pretty big. OG now with a relatively
Another
commanding lead,
ensnare
especially...
onto Miracle. This is going to be a full duration static link. They won't be able to kill him, but this is going to be a lot of CS for Thompson here in the mid lane. He's actually rushing a BKB first item. What are your thoughts on that?
I like it.
That's pretty cool.
I like it a lot for their lineup. They want a frontliner to come out of mid and just run at people so they can hit their stuns. Thompson can't die in this game when he's BKB to anything else than the Terrorblade. Well,
he's gonna get
he's not
magic
BKB
missile for
currently,
now.
and he's diving the tower, so
Yeah,
that was...
Reflection. Everybody has come to play, and Thompson, ooh, literally all 5 members of Team Nigma. Goodness gracious.
Thought he was playing Ember Spirit, but didn't have a Remnant, so... That's...
Yeah.
That was weird.
I mean, to be fair, he does play heroes that have a lot of mobility center, so Razor
Yeah,
not
he
exactly
does.
the first hero I think of. When
I think
of
another
Thompson.
thing, this is probably Thompson's highest CS all year at 10 minutes, so he needs to get down to his normal level.
Yeah, very
CS per
true.
minute was too
Mounted
high.
defense here,
Sumail,
but Mind Control comes out of nowhere with that Mars Arena. Sumail stuck inside the Rebuke will keep him safe, but there you see the song. No tell in the area. Oh, okay, swap, but the Gust will miss. Looks like Kuroki's going to get fingered either way, though. No tell's going to be the trade at the very least. Seb jumps in. This is a huge team fight at the beginning of the game. The Tier 1 tower is being focused by ILTW. He will get it successfully. Objective-based gamer over here, but it's going to cost them Mind Control at the very least. So a 2-for-1. Very strange fight. ILTW didn't even bother crossing that line there, Cinder, and as they might... If they get Miracle, this will be huge. Timber Chains, Seb pursuing. Soxa's in the area, but Thompson has another Plasma Field in 2 seconds. Needs to stay on the outskirts, and the Burrow Strike cancels the TP. 3 kills, even though one already has revived. Oh, gee, what a defense. Of course,
Sumail
man.
solo kills GH too. Oh boy,
Basically
yeah,
a team wipe, not including ILTW, but the Tier 1 was lost.
I honestly think it was a really good call from LTW to not dive in there and try to fight. I think that was just reckless, and it's showing maybe a little bit of... I wouldn't say inexperience on Nigma's part. It's just probably been a really long time since they've played against Naga, right? Like it's just not maybe something you think about intuitively in the correct manner. Kuro's mega dead here, by the way. He does no tango, so he's not getting out of
GH
there.
is here though. Gets the Sunray off.
But they went too far there, Nigma, in the mid lane. There's just too much defense from OG out of that Song of the Siren, and they turn it around and get some easy kills. Kuro ends up in a really awkward position, swaps the Drow, but doesn't really set anything up with it.
The Hex on the mid dive, but they're not going to follow it up with anything. As Soxa.
These leads for OG are insane, actually. Sand King is
4K.
2,500 gold ahead of the Mars, and now Timber is also 1,500 behind the Razor. So the only player that's really keeping up with the opposition is the Terrorblade of ILTW, and that makes sense, because he has 100 CS, 2 kills, 2 assists, and hasn't died. He's just farming and prioritizing that. But they're losing the fights badly, and now they might find the grand prize in mid.
Kill, Cinderin. Impale into Burrow Strike. Do they have the finger? The swap save from Kuro, but the multi-shot from afar, it's not quite enough to take out ILTW. He does have Sunder as well. Let's see if he wants to use it on a teammate as the egg is being focused. So down goes GH. Sumail forcing Miracle out yet again. And they're going to try to go for this tier 1 tower. Man, that is a lot of damage to Kuro. Thompson not able to clean it up with the plasma field, but
If only they
Nigma
had
are
mind
just
control
limping
there,
back.
that would have been amazing for Nigma. But obviously,
Yeah.
OG no. Mind control is showing in the top lane. He had TP on cooldown. He had no mana. So they are very ready to go here. Sumail with that double damage will take the tower. And at the rate this game is going, Nigma are going to need a good team fight sometime soon, because these heroes are ramping up way too fast for the Terrorblade to handle this alone. Oh no. He's caught. There's Finger.
yeah. So that's a death that just, it can't happen. This is now a 5k net worth lead for OG at 13 minutes. Are you freaking, this is crazy. There's not an alchemist in the game. There's no weird like inflation with the gold. They're just getting crushed.
Yeah, I would definitely not have expected this game to be so one-sided for either team at this point in time, but OG are just
Thompson
totally
does
outplaying
have to
them.
be careful here. This would be a really big kill for Nigma. Of course, he doesn't have his BKB. It's still a couple hundred away. Gets swapped
Throw the
back
swap.
into the fray. He's going to get the kill, but it's going to be a trade that, I mean, again, Thompson being just over-aggressive, it feels like. And yeah, that, I mean, he loses a couple hundred gold here, so he's going to be 300 now behind the 8 ball in terms of getting that BKB, but feels a little bit less disciplined than we're used to seeing, but either way, still have a massive lead for OG. Oh, nice deny in the bot lane from GH. So from Nigma's side, do they need to start getting aggressive? Is there a power spike incoming? I mean, Blink Dagger is going to be pretty important for mind control, but still basically 1,000 away from finishing that.
Yeah, I do think that's still the timing that you're aiming for, though. You need this big team fight set up so that Phoenix can have a major impact, and you can set up your Terrorblade as well. What OG are probably going to do is just play fast and keep looking for skirmishes, right? Like, they're rolling, and it's clear that Nigma are not interested in fighting currently. They're having a way more defensive posture. Their heroes aren't fully ready and online yet. So knowing OG, they get really hungry when they sense that the game is going like that, and they will look for more moves. This top tier 1 tower is definitely the next objective.
Yeah, and Sumail is there to take it as mind control, yeah, in the area, but not looking to set anything up. Just wants to make sure that he survives. Maybe push a little wave here to make sure they can't go any further, but still 700 away from finishing Blink Dagger for himself. Meanwhile, Seb is sitting on 1,700 current gold while already having Blink Dagger, and now he's taking some stacks. Looks like Yule's is on the menu for him. Speaking of being hungry. And Thompson. So he does have his BKB now. He actually cancels his TP. They want to go on top of Miracle here. Soxa, all right, has the Earth Spike. Seb, Burrow Strike to follow. No, he's going to get stunned in the meantime. Chocolate to
good
follow as
double!
well. 3 heroes stuck there. Seb on the outskirts gets popped. Thompson trying to go for this egg. Looks like he'll get it at the very least, but it's inside the Mars arena now. But the BKB allows him to go back inside. He's getting right-clicked from afar by ILTW. OG now on the run. Mind control. Spear not able to hit, but Thompson has to change directions thanks to Miracle jumping in. Rebuke. One more right-click should do it. A huge kill for Nigma. And OG now giving up some valuable kills right on the sideline. Multi-shot is enough to take out Kuroki. And now Miracle, wrong place, wrong time. Finger of death from Soxa. And that is enough as Sumail is cleaning up. Naga, okay, the song was there, but yeah, he got out of range of mind control.
tried to reach the Terrorblade, so then the Mars got out.
Yeah, we talked about that range. Still level 1.
Absolutely noticeable there. Only the 1k range on level 1. But yeah, that, like you said, that looked pretty good for Nigma, but then Miracle overdiving a bit. It has been happening a couple of times in today's games. In the first game on Invoker, even though he had an outstanding performance with some insane spellcasting, there were these couple of moments that get really high intensity and very stressful for them. And you can't help but feel like you're right about what you said earlier, that it's just playing against OG, right? Like the tempo and the intensity that the games have, just it's like forced errors, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's really what it feels like. And Sumail came in with a nice flank too. But...
Yeah, and Yules is now online for Seb. He is working on the Shivas next. I mean, even Soxa almost has his Blink Dagger, so 4k net worth lead. So they've kind of stabilized a bit here from Nigma's side, I want to say. because that was snowballing out of control. It was what 6K, and it went down to 2K or 3K. So they're at least not getting snowballed on right now. But then again, Saksa is in the area to try to set something up here. Finger of Death is down though for quite a while. And from ILTW's perspective, has the Dragonlance Yasha. I think the Manta's on the way. Yeah, Recipe's on the courier, so we'll have the Manta style. And then the all-important Blink Dagger for Mind Control is up. So, is this the time? Do you want to maybe wait for OG? I mean, it's easier said than done. Try to go for Roche and then contest it since you have such a good team against it, which
it's
will be now.
They do realize it though. They're TPing in and trying to smoke.
Yeah, they have Arena
I
Egg.
don't know if they're going to be in time. No, they're baiting Miracle. They don't realize this is happening at all, actually. Yeah. Unless they're too late.
Too late.
Dead.
Yeah, Miracle somewhat close, but not close enough it seems. That is the Aegis for Sumail. And Miracle already only has half mana here. Has a Soul Ring available, but yeah, you're right. That looked like a clear bait that was not bitten by OG. I feel like they would have taken it if Roche was not available. That is, feels like
could
OG's
have worked,
prerogative.
maybe, yeah. That's also one of the nice things about Naga Siren, right? Is your ability to go to Roche. Like, a lot of the times in these games, a lot gets decided there. Naga is one of the best supports in the Roche pit at all, because you can start the Roche with Drow there, and you have the big feeling of safety that if you do get jumped, you have a reset button to get out and reposition and maybe turn around the fight and win. I think there's a really big part of the decision there from OG to go for Roche is that they have Naga. Because their lineup isn't inherently very good at killing Roshan, but that safety factor really makes a big difference. Alright, No-Tell has Meteor Hammer.
Oh
Interesting
boy!
Stuff. Song and a Hammer. A classic. A timeless classic.
Yeah, that's not the words I would use for that, but the meme hammer build, for sure. I mean, it's one of those things where you do have to time it if you want to actually, like, make sure they can't do anything about it, right? Song into actual Meteor Hammer. There's like a special
I think you
trick
can
to
always
it.
BKB, right?
Yeah,
there was a
BKB,
time when you
but
couldn't BKB it because it was frame perfect out of Song if you pressed it in a specific way. I believe now that is impossible, so you can always get BKB off.
any mobility spells will.
Dude, it's been
definitely
so
have
long
issues.
since I've seen a Naga with Meteor Hammer.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute for sure. As Sumail gonna focus on the tier 2 bot, he outranges it right now, so good to go. As ooh, all right, GH spots out Saksa. He's gonna get out the Earth Spike, but actually the swap is there. It's gonna be an easy kill on Saksa, but he gets the Finger of Death before his untimely death. Thompson looking for the egg instead. He'll get it. Mind control a little bit late as a double burrow strike from Seth. Beautifully done. His mind control just getting decimated within the arena itself. Miracle ends up cleaning 7 turn though, so it's a 2 for 2. And after all that, Kuroki somehow lived, despite being the one that was originally gone on. Still, Aegis online for Sumail, so...
If MC connects a little bit earlier there in the arena, maybe they save the egg and that's big, but good play from OG to immediately identify that that was a killable supernova. That could have got really scary. It's always, when you commit to try to kill the egg there, if it gets saved, it's way worse than if you had never tried, because you kind of just had killed your own team, but they do pull it off and get out, so relatively even trade across the board. And I do think Nigma should be happy with that. Like, the game has been looking really grim for them for quite a while, but they're slowly but steadily getting there over time. Like, Miracle's starting to get an item now, close to that Halberd. Terrorblade Scotty is not too far away. GH got his Yules because they delayed. So some things are coming up, but I think OG should still feel very comfortable if they do get to fight right now, especially with no Supernova and Arena. It would be a great timing. But guess what? Arena, it's ready again because it's been 4 seconds, but the Supernova isn't ready. So
Indeed.
Bottom tower's down.
But Song is up now. No-Tail now level 12, so he'll get that extra range. And, okay, average Roche taken at 25 minutes. Oh, OG it. Interesting. Interesting statistic there. I like these kind of stats that are revolved around Roshan. As,
You love everything about Roshan.
Roshan, shards, Ags. I love it. Roshan needs a sister, I think. Or a wife.
Roshana.
or if you're from the south, both. Anyway, Sumail has the Aegis, and he's going for this tier 2 in the mid lane. Aegis still in tow. He's going for the BKB now. And obviously has a Hurricane Pike Manta. He is quite strong. But then again, if you look at ILTW, he is right on par, Synderen. Has a Hurricane Pike Manta, and instead of the... he's going for Scotty next, which... This is the more typical Terrorblade build.
It is. I think this is the tried and true default build that you deviate from when you have a good reason to, and I think in this game he doesn't. Like, Lance Manta Scotty looks solid, and then it's telling what he goes next. Sometimes, oh, hang on.
Oh,
they're gonna try Miracle here.
Into
no
the Meteor
way.
Hammer. Yeah, maybe they're just trying to force them out here. No-Tail, again, still has a song. Gust keeping them at bay. Thompson now has the BKB. He's working on the Assault Gear, so they're focusing on ILTW. He's going to get swapped to safety, though. GH still has the egg. They're going to blow up Kuro at the very least. Thompson's BKB is now out. Plasma Field. Oh, the spear. The egg on the high ground as well. But there's the song. Thompson is going to be saved. The egg does hit No-Tail, though. Song is still going because she has a very loud voice. No, Burrow Strike. Mind Control is getting focused now. Wrong place, wrong time for him. Finger of Death burst him down. So a 2-for-0 is OG. When we saw Nigma, you talked about it, they were clawing their way back in, but now it's back to a 5k network lead for OG. Good save from No-Tail.
Yeah, the Naga factor is actually so noticeable. You can tell Nigma don't want to combine all their spells together because they're just going to get songed and be out of steam. Mind Control held the arena the whole time. He never arenaed the Razor that he pinned to the base wall. Maybe he thought they could kill him without it. And honestly, he would have got away. He could have just TP'd after the song instead of standing or running away. So it wouldn't even have worked with the arena. And definitely an issue for Nigma that they can't reliably get on the Naga in any possible way. Like, none of their lineup will get there and get that kill. The only hero that's mobile is Timber, and you know, Naga will just run away. He's too tanky.
I'm just really impressed the fact that ILTW is able to keep the farm up here, despite his team kind of being... I mean, look at the map control right now for OG. And then again, we've seen a lot of Terrorblades just farm out of control. This hero just feels like it's on another level. With these illusions going to town. And he's getting pretty close to that Scotty. Not too far away. Just like 300-400 gold. Mind Control working on the BKB for himself as well. So, does OG just wait for Roche number 2? Is that the play?
I definitely think they could. They have good enough map control and good enough scaling that I don't think they worry too much about... See, compared to game number 1, that's a big difference, right? Because in game 1, when they had their Chen strategy, it felt like, okay, eventually when Nigma gets big enough, this is going to get hard. In this game, I think OG can win this even after 60 minutes. Like, their lineup has Drow and Razor in late game, can be super strong with their talents and the right itemization. You've got Sanking, who's an excellent late game offlaner because of the low cooldown on the stun, and when BKBs get low, you get multiple of them off in a fight if you play it well. Lion, maybe one of the best scaling supports in the game. So definitely not lacking on the options here, so just take it easy if they want to.
And I think this is a storyline that we talk about with other teams that I don't think it really comes into play here, where nerves can get the, like Tundra, this would be a great example for them. A lot of players have not gotten to, you know, this is to go to TI Center, but both of these teams so experienced. That is not a thing at all. Is get a smoke here from Team Nigma. Oh, Roku is looking for an opening. He's just going to get blown up instead. Actually, will live for now. No-Tail gets the song to counter everything.
This hammer, though.
From Team Nigma.
Okay.
Yeah, what is going on with the hammer there? The egg comes out. You can see the shard is already picked up by him as ILTW with the meta. Focusing on Topsy. He's going to be able to get it as the egg goes off as well. Nice impale from Soxa, but a big epicenter onto 2. Down goes ILTW, a huge initiation from Seb, and that's going to cost them 3 and make it 4 with Kuroki dropping to the deck. And this is likely to be a full team wipe if they're able to get Miracle here. Seb is actually going to stay alive throughout all of this. What a crazy counter initiation, turning into an ultra kill for Sumail. My God, Seb
was bizarre. Like, what an insane song. They were so stacked up in their own arena. He starts channeling the Meteor Hammer, and nothing happens. Like, it just hits the ground. They're all still asleep for another 4 seconds. There was no combo at all. But it didn't matter. It set up Seb for ultimate success to get that song out. And they just run away with it. Sumail 11-0 gets an ultra kill in that fight, and he's knocking on high ground, getting tier 3. They're gonna respect the respawns here and back up. But 12,000 gold, such a huge moment for OG.
That one fight doubled their lead in terms of net worth.
That was
and now they're going to get even more out of it because they're farming the jungle. And like you said, Roche is going to be the next thing on the menu. So 17 seconds to go. There's a DD top. If they see this along with Roche in a few seconds, this will be a hard thing to contest for Team Nigma. And we're talking about ILTW, no meta for 55 seconds. So there is plenty of time to get all of this.
Yep.
See if they scout it
absolutely.
out. So Roche is up. This is the Shard Roche. DD. It's
Dare
bottled.
I say it, between the wacky position 5s of Naga and Razor, one has looked a little bit better than the other in this series.
You make it sound like I know that Naga hasn't been picked as support lately, but historically she's been.
Oh no,
a
I'm
lot.
not saying it's bad at all. It's just different, right? But you can really see why OG put it support this game and what it accomplished. It's been super impactful.
They get the Aegis, they get the cheese, they get the Shard. Okay, Finger of Death, but there's the swap onto ILTW into the song. Seb, all right, we're gonna see the Meteor Hammer with the Epicenter to follow. They just want to focus on GH. He's getting really low, and a multi-shot finishes him off after the Yule. Buy back into the game, though, still has his egg. Mind control, just on the wrong place of the terrain here. And he's gonna have to buy back as well. But these Team Nigma members are dropping like flies, Cinderin. As the impale from 2, oh my god, the ensnare to follow. They have to get ILTW out of here if they're able to get to TI. This is the big moment right now, but the egg goes down. ILTW has his Sunder available. He's so freaking low. Thompson, but there's the Burrow Strike from Seb. That is a dieback. Oh my goodness, Miracle now. This looks to be it, Cinderin. It looks like OG are going to the grand finals, and Team Nigma, the last finalist at TI9, will not be going to TI at all. Unreal.
It's so crazy. It's like no matter what the outcome of this series is, it's just insane, right? Like, we knew that when the qualifier started that this was going to happen, and it still feels so... It still feels so crazy when it does. Like, we can't be surprised, right? One of these we're not going, but still, it feels like it really catches you off guard somehow. But man, what a game from OG. They played super well this game. So good coordination. I've been talking a lot about the Naga pick and what it did for the game. I think Soxa played an outstanding Lion game. Seb Sand King was very good as well. And Sumail just had like the perfect game. He was so set up the whole time. 13-0-13. Not the unlucky number in this game. Unless that's a bad omen for the finals. But really good stuff. If OG play like this, Tundra's got to be a little bit... They got to be ready today.
Kuro's not going to TI, Cinderin.
Yeah, I know.
First time ever for him. Who does that leave? Isn't there a
Puppy
list?
only.
It's just Puppy now.
Puppy is the last player to have played at every TI.
Wow. That's impressive. But yeah, what a series.
Imagine his qualifier if Secret were also in it somehow. I know that would have been ridiculously unlikely, right? But could you have imagined that? If those three teams had to play for the spot.
I can imagine it, actually.
Damn.
But it wasn't the reality this time. So Team Nigma, they're out. OG, they're going to take a little bit of a break and have a best of 5 versus Tundra, who 2-0'd them in the upper bracket. But then again, when you're OG, you learn a lot in that case. So it should be a pretty good series either way. We'll take a quick break into the panel, into interviews, into deliciousness, whatever the hell that means. See you later.
Yummy.
Congratulations to OG for taking this series 2-1. They make it to the grand finals and they can start preparing for their grand finals against Tundra in only just a little bit. I'm here with Milan and Tigov, and we're going to break down that third game. That Milan, it didn't play out how we thought it would at all, right? I can't hear you, Milan.
He's muted.
No.
Oh no.
Oh no! All right,
That's
oh,
okay.
there you are.
There we go.
Yeah.
I mean,
Those
it
fancy
didn't
ones.
play out as we saw it. It just, I think OG showed the better team overall. They just, I think strategic-wise, still Nigma was in a winning position, at least from the start, and then just the lanes didn't go as expected for the Nigma, and the OG was just on another level. But it was very close. If one egg popped off during this whole first 20 minutes, I think we would be probably looking at the different winner.
Yeah, because it didn't really feel that close, T.
Yeah, this is kind of one of those series where if you watch each game, you can see how the strategy of both teams develops. And I think game one, Nigma, the way that they played into OG, they expertly were able to dodge the aggression that they want to bring. And they kind of allowed OG to play their own game and then capitalized on that going into like minute 20 onwards. In this game, it was kind of the same storyline that Nigma wanted, but I'd say from like minute 8 to 12, they got so absorbed into this fighting. And I think the best moment, the highlight from it was like a minute 12, they're all TPing at this diving Razor. And I think it was either 4 or 5 heroes from Nigma, all in the middle of the map, all just feeling super awkward, killing one Razor who's doing some like independent dive. And kind of that alone, it felt like, unfortunately for Nigma, as the series progressed, they just slowly kind of knelt down to what OG wanted to do. And they kind of bowed down to their playstyle. And like at TI, right? Like at TI9, they kind of they started playing OG's game. And when you start doing that, that's when, you know, they come out on top. They have this Naga support. They sing every team fight and they just turn it around. So yeah, unfortunately for Nigma, they fell victim to what OG wants to do.
They did indeed. It felt very strong, the Seb Sand King that we see here on our screens. It hasn't always worked out in these qualifiers, Milan, but Seb had some amazing initiations, or should I maybe even say counter initiations?
Yeah, counter initiations. There's all famous Seb, X-Call, and like this epicenter into Biostrike. You know, it looked like, oh, what is this sleep? Oh, what is this meteor hammer? Oh, what, they're gonna lose it?
Oh, here we go.
Then,
Yeah.
here we go. Seb kills everyone, and we're like, okay, GG. You know, even as a spectator, when you see the whole fight, you didn't really see it coming. And you know, in the game, it's like even much harder.
It's the first time I saw Sand King actually do damage. Like, I'm sure this hero doesn't have damage with his ultimate, right? I'm sure it's like it's a fake spell. And this was the first game that I was like, what the epi? It did help he was like level 19 when he was using him in the key fights, but it was the first game where Sand King looked like a real hero.
It really did. It really felt like it. Another hero right now on our screen that we don't see very often. We have seen it in that position in the past. It wasn't as out of left field as the Kuroki Razor we saw in game 2, but the Naga Siren and the setup and the Meteor Hammer, No-Till does it again, picking a hero, making us think, why don't we see this more often, Milan?
Yeah, I mean, it's just out of box. It's like the players with more experience, like Rocky and No-Till, they tend to go out of box because they have more confidence to perform. He has maybe not played this Naga much, but he's like, I got this dude. As I told you the second game when he played Io, you said he didn't play in a while, blah blah blah. I mean, he's like, I got this, bro. I've been playing my whole life for this moment, and I'll perform. And that's why where some of less experienced players, they would be like, pick me my comfort hero and such thing.
Yeah, is there any MVP for you, Thompson, for this? Thompson, wow. No, I was going to say Tigov. You can pick Thompson if you want, but you don't want to put words in your mouth.
No, please, thank you. You're telling me to pick Thompson.
No. Razor is
I'll
not
go
the
with-
most flashy hero, so I don't even know if you should.
That's true. So we could go for a core and support MVP if you want, so I get an
I like
easier answer. For core, I'll probably go with Sumail. I think, of course, him going into the carry role, obviously not a lot of time to really get into it, but he is playing extremely well. It helps that he's kind of subscribed to the OG system very quickly. He's top net worth in like most games, and you know, often just doing God's work. So I think, Sumail for the core. Support. Ooh. Yeah, gotta go with Saska. Yeah, sorry, No-Till with your Naga support, which was somewhat game winning. Yeah, I think Satsuko, he's just always in the right positions. Just a stellar chap. Like, he just often doesn't misstep, and I think it really helps solidify OG perform really well.
Was that for just this game?
Now that was kind of like a series thing, I think.
Okay,
I was just going overarching. Yeah. Wait, you're gonna go like no-tail maybe?
I would
What's your
definitely, if you ask for over series or an over game, I think I'd go for no-till for both of those. Milan,
angle? Okay.
what are you thinking? Yeah,
I
nod.
can agree with you, but
Yeah.
I would like to say I'm gonna get the easy answer here for myself. It's like
there
I
we
would
go.
give an MVP to Team OG. It's like
yeah.
they're bringing the magic together back, and they came back into the series. They won the second game, mental game, with picking Io first and then finishing Io. They showed up. But if I needed to single out one thing, it's the no-tail sleeps. It's definitely the no-tail sleeps on Nagadasaya that won the previous game.
Yeah, see. And in terms of cores, Milan?
Of course. I would say Sumail probably, like 13-0
Okay.
last game. The Gyrocopter,
Yeah.
he was like unstoppable. But yeah, his team set him up for success. But of course, you have to be able to perform.
Yeah.
No matter
You
what.
mentioned the OG magic that we saw a little bit here again today. Do we feel like if you compare this OG to TI winning OG, I know it's a slightly different roster, but you know, again, the vibes are somewhat the same. How close to the same form you feel, T, are they at the moment? How good does Tundra need to be to beat them?
I think Tundra needs to be on their absolute A game. I think the most important thing here is the series they last played were Tundra 2-0'd and they dismantled OG. It will be a different OG coming in today. I think, like we mentioned earlier, like having this low bracket final, having that kind of fire lit beneath you, knowing that you've already won the series to get to the finals, it makes you just play so much better. Even if you're equal on the footing, it just, that mental game, it will be in OG's corner. And I think skill-wise and kind of mechanically, I think Tundra have shown that they are the best team in this qualifier at least. And I think there's going to be big disparities between the two. But yeah, OG is looking pretty good. Like, pretty good. TI winning, let's not get carried away. This is a qualifier after all. They're not the best in the region. They're the best in the one of the best in the qualifier, but they're well on the way. I think Tundra is like the perfect kind of test to try and see if OG actually has the substance to perform at TI.
Yeah, and they've also, Milan, we talked to both OG and Tundra. These are the two teams that actually were okay with scrimming each other before the qualifiers started, right? There was a couple of people saying, you know, nobody wants to really scrim teams that you probably or maybe would face in any kind of crucial match in a TI qualifier, so not a lot of scrims were had. But these two teams, they're proving that those scrims were vital for them to both make it to the grand finals.
Yeah, I mean, we scrimmed, my team Ghost Rocks, we scrimmed all three of these teams, mostly Nigma, and I think I would rate them OG, Tundra, Nigma. And I think the most important part for Tundra is to keep the mental strength after they eventually lose the first game. Because it's a BO5 versus OG, they're gonna drop one game. And they need to be able to just take that head and stay on their toes, you know. It's gonna be a rough series, and they know it. Neta said yesterday in the interview, he is prepared. He knows it's coming. But one is to know it's coming. Second thing is to actually do it. You know, the OG is gonna throw punches left and right. It's gonna be amazing. Everyone's gonna enjoy it.
Everybody's gonna enjoy it for sure. Well, there's a couple of fans, couple of teams that are not gonna enjoy it as much. I want to close the chapter on Team Nigma, and it's actually it's heartbreaking, right? Because this is the team that was second place at the previous TI. Decided then after TI getting seconds, like, guys, we are gonna start a new organization together, and they did that, and they made Team Nigma, and then they tried to play in that season coming up, and it didn't really work too well, but it was okay because there was still a full year to come. Wrong! No full year, COVID hits, the organization struggles a little bit. They do get some nice sponsors, but this squad, first of all, okay, Kuro for the first time in his life not attending TI as a player, that is on itself, Tikov, already something incredibly unusual and definitely something worth highlighting. But this team not making it to TI, it's crazy.
It is, and I think it's one of those things where it does highlight the format of DPC a little bit. You know, this is a team that came third, both seasons of DPC. This is a team that made a pretty good run in the second major, and that alone didn't give them enough points to get to TI. So I think it might highlight, maybe you could use the whole DPC format wasn't too friendly towards the third best team in the region. But still, yeah, I think that aside, that's just how the format goes. They weren't able to muster enough, but I think the main thing is this roster, this iteration of the team, it had amazing energy, especially at LAN. We saw them compete. We saw them, on the player cams after each game, the energy. And I think that alone is such a great team to get behind and support. And I hope that the don't make it to TI syndrome doesn't kick in for this type of team. And I hope they're able to keep that kind of camaraderie up, because they are a great team to watch. They're a great team to support. It's just how brutal this qualifier is. We can't have more than one team get through. This was a close series. So yeah, they're an amazing team. They didn't make it this time. I just hope that, for the fans and for the team, they are able to, stick it through and get to the next season, because, they are an amazing team to watch. They were technically third best in the region through kind of DPC grouping alone.
Yeah, you can even argue that the Singapore Major, Milan, yes, Team Nigma was there, but unfortunately for them, Mind Control was not able to make it. And that potentially could have just cost them TI at this point, because Mind Control, we've seen it here this entire qualifier. He's a cornerstone of this team.
Mind Control is definitely instrumental, and the major itself had a lot of different unlucky circumstances, and Mind Control once stood in for Peter Pandam at his major in Colombo, and they placed third or fourth. I remember that.
They destroyed that one.
He's very good. But I would just like to highlight for all the Nigma fans that they should be proud of their team. They did try their best. It's unlucky that Igor is not gonna attend his first TI, the LTW. He's an amazing player, and they're all honestly amazing. And it's the competition is just so rough, and only one can be a winner today. But we should really appreciate what they showed today. For all
we should indeed, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because they do have a very passionate fan base for sure. And it is important to know that these guys at the moment, if you're a fan of Team Nigma, this is the time where they need your support more than anything. Of all the times, if they would have qualified, sure, they would have loved to see the cheers. But this is the point where they need your support more than anything. So make sure to, give positive vibes. They're needed for sure. But we're going to have some positive vibes as well. First of all, we're going to have positive vibes because we're going to give you things. Or rather, Mate is going to give you things, because it's time for another giveaway. Shout out to Mate, of course, for making this show possible. And if you want to have a chance of earning 2 cases of Mate, make sure to type !Mate into the Twitch chat. And, you can find the exclamation mark underneath it or above your 1 in most keyboards. And then it's MATE. And then you press enter. And then you have chance something cool, something good. So make sure you do that. You got 10 minutes from now until 10 minutes from now. Do the math. You can do it. I believe in you. And I believe in also in my panelists, having had a great lower bracket finals. Tigov, Milan, it was an absolute pleasure to have you both on board. And I know that you're not going to be on the panel for the grand finals, so this is my chance to pick your brain for this grand finals. Tigov, I'm going to let you go first regarding grand finals predictions and just anything you want to say about that.
I think the overall series will be very amazing. I think it's OG, the team that has to do with the most development here. I think Tundra are the ones who have already kind of set the pace. We saw how the mini meta of this OG Nigma series was kind of instrumental in why OG was able to win. And I think that's going to be kind of game 1, game 2 will be the learning, kind of the experimental phase of the grand final. Will we get 5 games? I'll let Milan answer that, because I think we might get that. We might get that.
I'll stick with my prediction before this whole day even started, and that the OG is gonna take it all, because I felt they will in the end be more clutch, and the lower bracket run actually helped them develop more than Tundra, that sadly was waiting with 6-0. That's gonna work against them a bit, at least I predict so. And I just hope for amazing series. I sincerely hope, I'm a little bit biased, it's my ex-team, and I hope they make it through. Especially for the Skit and 9, they never played TI before. They're really good enough players. All today's players that played are good enough to be top 2 TI, you know, not only players, but you know, it's the way it is. So I think OG will take it. The 5 games, cannot tell. I surely hope it's 5 games.
Yeah, I think a lot of people with you as well in terms of just watching some great Dota. I mean, we see before us the enormous double elimination bracket T. What's the most surprise? Like Tundra making it to the grand finals for me is one of the more surprising things. But over the entire qualifiers, what's the most surprising thing for you?
I'd probably go with the chicken fighter storyline. You see that in the bottom side, the lower bracket, where they're able to beat Viking. They of course beat then Smashers, and then nearly were able to beat Liquid. I think that's a team that has always kind of been in the shadows of Europe, right? Like back when we had the minors and the majors, they would always just be close enough to get to the minor, but never got there. Last year they didn't get there, so I think a lot of respect towards those guys still sticking it out there and, you know, kind of struggling through what is tier 2 and tier 3 Dota. And I think that I have a lot of respect for those guys still, you know, putting in the effort and trying to get there, when they're always, you know, having to face the teams like Liquid, like Nigma, OG, and Tundra. I think that storyline for sure needs to kind of be given a little bit more light.
All right. And what about you, Milan?
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say it's obvious. Ghost Frogs not making it to the finals. I mean, it's very obvious.
You lost us some tomatoes, bro.
Yeah.
Jokes aside, I think unpleasant surprise was Viking GG taking an early exit. Pleasant surprise was Chicken Fighters, and otherwise we got the expected result of the big 4 coming into top 4, and it went pretty as expected after first 2 days, you know. I guess
as well is quickly the point about Tundra though. Is like we have highlighted this finals from quite an OG perspective, but like Tundra have been 6-0. They have looked incredible and they have looked somewhat flawless in their games. And like they've won games through these mechanical plays like Courier dragging waves, Tide Hunter buying Dominator, you know, discipline of Tide going Ags. Like these such small plays that these players wouldn't even think about in some of these games. Like I think that is why Tundra is such an exceptional team being in the grand finals, and like that is in itself an amazing storyline, and that's why I think this grand finals will be so good, because like they have kind of set the tone for all other teams to look at and go, we want to be at that level to qualify for this tournament. So yeah, a lot of respect for Tundra as well in their flawless run so far.
Yeah, I think it's also important to note, and I'm sure we'll talk about it more during that finals as well, that Tundra is one of the few teams that we saw how much of an impact it had in this series that we just watched. One of the few teams that has a couple of heroes that you just want to ban first phase. You know, you don't want to let that Broodmother go through for 33. You don't want to let that Winter Wyvern for 9 going through, because that's a flex pick as well, right? So there's a lot of things to look out for there as well. All right, closing thoughts from both of you. Milan, you want to go first?
We said a lot of things, but yeah, I'm just excited about the good Dota we will see, and I'm already sad for the team that loses, but you know,
yeah,
it is what it is, and may the best team win, and may everyone have fun.
All right, T.
We're one step closer to TI. You know, the excitement builds, and I think this is going to be a nice closing chapter towards a very long DPC series. And yeah, just excited to see who can come out on top, the new guys or kind of the old guard.
Yeah, the defending champions or the contestants. We're going to find out. Thank you both so much for your time and your insight. And we are going to have a break. But when we are back, it is grand finals time. Only one team makes it to TI10. Will it be Tundra? Will it be OG? We're finding out after the break.